Your feelings do not go away by just ignoring them. Kahit ibaon at ibaon mo man yan, hindi yan mawawala lang just because binaon mo siya.
Hello! Welcome to another episode of Therapop. I'm Maine Veneracion.
I'm Kevin Veneracion.
And it's been a while since we did one of these. I think the last one was
2 years ago.
2 years ago kasi mag-birthday na yung anak namin. So, literally, actually, parang we stopped the podcast because nanganak na ako and now we're starting it again because he's turning 2.
Yeah, if you guys remember our last 2 episodes, wala na si Maine doon because she was very pregnant. She was about to give birth. So we actually had guests, some of our dear friends as our guests.
For the last 2 episodes of Therapop before we took a break. But today, we decided to record a new episode because a new series on Netflix came up and it's called Adolescence. I'm sure you've heard of this show because it's literally everywhere. But in case you haven't, I pulled up the summary. So basically, it's a story or it's a mini-series about a family whose world turned upside down when their 13-year-old Jamie Miller is arrested for murdering a schoolmate. The charges against their son forced them to confront every parent's worst nightmare. So I guess when I read this summary, parang hindi ko masyado naisip ano ba yung possible na worst nightmare because now that we have a son, it can literally be anything. For you?
For me?
Oo.
Maybe because napanood ko or nabasa ko yung Beautiful Boy na libro, yung kay Steve Carell, Timothée Chalamet. So, talagang my son falling into drug addiction. Kasi ang na-realize ko dun is, no matter how good of a person your son is, addiction is not about morality naman eh.
Yeah.
It's an illness. So yung si Timothée Chalamet dun, kahit mabait siyang anak, once he got into drugs, it really destroyed his relationships with his family. So it's kind of losing your son to drugs. So for me, that's my worst fear. What about you?
Well, obviously, it's losing the child. Kasi when I learned about this series, ang nakita ko lang or nag-fixate lang ako dun sa fact na it's every parent's worst nightmare. I didn't know, but I know vaguely that it's about murder. But I didn't know that it was the son who was accused of murder. So I thought the son died. So ako, yun yung worst nightmare ko. But I think after watching the series, like this is like top 2 and the worst nightmares for a parent. So, in case you haven't seen the show, spoiler alert, just stop watching this and then just go back. Because for this episode, I mean, if you're new here, we are basically therapizing or we are gonna discuss a lot of like the psychological aspects of the characters in the show. So, it's better na alam mo yung story before you watch this video because Kevin is a psychiatrist, if you didn't know, and then I like watching stuff. I like watching movies and I like asking questions about how the mind works, and he's the one who's gonna answer everything. So again, warning, this is your spoiler alert mark.
Okay.
Anything after this, it's not spoiler free anymore. I guess yung we cannot move to the next topic until we say na, like, is the son guilty of murder or not? Because that also plays a big part of it.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, when I was in the first 2 episodes, medyo I kind of had a feeling that he was really gonna be guilty. And
ano yung tells for you?
It was more of like a gut feel that the whole point of the show is not whether or not he's guilty, but it's about why he did what he did. That's just how I felt when I was watching it. So, parang, and it would have been the I guess, predictable outcome kung innocent yung bata, no? Kasi maybe a lot of us were hoping that was the outcome. So, it was more complex because they actually made it na guilty nga siya. And therefore, the bigger question is, why did he do what he did?
So I think on a surface level, anyone who watches the show will immediately, I guess, conclude na yung reason kung bakit niya ginawa to is because of his masculinity. Or I guess, either his masculinity being threatened kasi binubully siya nung girl sa school nila, or it's just the effect of cyberbullying. Parang it can either go, parang the way you interpret this show, I think, depends na on what your understanding is or what your relationship is towards, masculinity.
Well, I agree with, I don't know, first of all, yung toxic masculinity or fragile masculinity. Kasi, but not in the sense na parang binuli siya and lumaban siya, but more on the sense na kung ang naturo kasi sa'yo growing up is to express your emotions through anger, because anger is often the easiest emotion to express. Parang it's a delicate jump na lang, it's a fine line na lang between anger to violence kasi. So for me yun yung parang that's where the fragile masculinity came in, na the kid had trouble regulating, expressing his emotions, na nauwi tuloy sa violence.
Yeah. So, I mean, these aren't assumptions kasi during, di ba sa episode 4, parang when the mom and the dad were, I guess, processing what happened 10 months after the fact, or 10 months later, the mom pointed out na may anger issues daw yung kid and he got that from the dad.
Yeah.
I guess I'm wondering as a parent na parang, paano? Like, how are you gonna regulate your son's anger issues? Especially when nasa right age of being a teenager, feeling a lot of things.
But I think yun yung point, you build the foundation early. Kasi in psychology, in psychiatry, very important kasi yung formative years. Now, that's when you instill the conscience, or what they call the superego sa psychiatry. That's when you instill the values. That's when you teach how to express emotions. So, if magi-intervene ka lang dun sa panahon na teenager na siya, medyo malabo na magkakaroon ka ng positive outcome, because a lot of our struggles with our mental health as teenagers, as adults, it really starts in our childhood. So a lot of this are the foundations that we've built, childhood wounds na nabuksan ulit, parang ganon. So for Jamie, the kid in the show, it goes back for me nga dun sa how was he raised as a boy, and yung toxic or yung fragile masculinity. And for me, that basically means two things, no? Or at least the two things that come to my mind is always needing to assert your dominance and feeling like you always need to suppress your emotions. So sa toxic masculinity, I see it in I see it in some of my clients, some of my patients. Oftentimes the boys who struggle with their emotions are those boys na lumaki with the old school na mentality from their parents na bawal ka umiyak kasi lalaki ka. You need to toughen up. Pero I think research has shown, and even my clinical experience has shown that your feelings do not go away by just ignoring them. Kahit ibaon mo man yan, hindi yan mawawala lang just because binaon mo siya.
Yeah, pero I guess yung naging result is instead na binaon niya, nilabas niya, and it resulted to violence.
But that's because nabaon siya for a while. Kaya siya pumutok. Kaya siya sumabog, no? And usually kasi nakikita ko kung ang tinuturo natin sa ating mga boys, ating mga anak is bawal umiyak, kailangan laging matatag, laging strong in the traditional sense of it, no? Parang ang nangyayari kasi nun is the boys grow up feeling isolated. Feeling nila alone sila, feeling nila hindi sila makapagsabi ng tunay nilang nararamdaman, and that often results to anger, depression, anxiety, and that's what I see in my clinic, and I think that's also partly what happened here sa movie.
I remember you mentioning yung sa football scene, na parang the dad kept pushing the kid to take up sports, like the typical boy sports, like football and boxing.
Yeah.
Ganon. Tapos parang the dad admitted na hindi daw magaling yung anak niya, na sometimes he looks away whenever he misses the goalpost or something. How do you think that affected the boy's confidence?
Number one, I think on some level that's normal. No, I think on some level it's normal for us to encourage our kids, our little boys, to take up the activities that we ourselves enjoy. No, that's normal, and that's actually part of trying to connect with your kid.
Yeah.
I think ang pagkukulang dun is the communication that happened afterwards. Kung nakita na niyang nagsistruggle yung kanyang anak, then have that conversation. Is this something you enjoy also? Because if it's not something you enjoy, if it's not something you like doing, let's figure something else you would want to do. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to push your interest sa anak mo, but you need to know where to draw the line. Parang ganun. Ayun sa kanya, parang it was a lot of things left unsaid yung nangyari. Di ba, naglo-look away siya. So sa non-verbal niya na actions, hindi niya na malaya na meron na pala yung impact dun sa anak niya. Na nahuhuli pala nung anak niya that he looks away whenever the son struggles.
Yeah.
And never nila pinag-usapan yun. So it became a reason, part of the reason why mababa yung self-esteem ng anak niya, and why eventually he was so in need of validation. Parang ganun.
Yeah. And then I think after this kasi, or after that story, in episode 4, the dad said na parang they spent a lot of time together before their business took off. Kasi I think they have a plumbing service, as seen on his shirt, and then as seen on the van that was vandalized on episode 4 as well. Parang during that time, medyo na busy na yung dad, so naging absent figure na rin siya dun sa anak niya. But I think what was clear there was the mom was also at home. But I wonder how it affects, I mean, a boy specifically, if wala masyado yung dad mo at home. Kasi, I mean, it's a typical setup naman na the guy works and then the mom stays at home. Which, I mean, in this case, I don't think there's anything wrong with that naman. But yung na-mention lang nung mom na I should have known better, na I thought he was safe in his room kasi palagi lang daw siya nasa kwarto niya and they didn't know what was happening inside the room anyway. So, I guess I'm wondering, well, the first question is, how does it affect a boy's childhood if wala yung dad mo and palagi nang nagtatrabaho? Because I think that was the experience of our previous generation or our generation.
I don't know, I mean, ewan ko sa'yo, man, pero ako, I have a lot of friends, even myself included, na parang my dad was pretty busy naman working growing up. So I don't think it's an automatic thing na you're gonna grow up messed up if sobrang busy ng tatay mo sa trabaho. Hindi naman eh. I think it's more of what happens after work. Na parang, do you still get that time with your dad? Do you get those conversations with your dad? And I think yung parang, I guess yung effect na yung effect siguro na nakakontribute dun sa when it came to how he struggled with his masculinity, kasi yun naman yung main theme nung one of the main themes ng show is if you don't have that connection with your dad, sino yung magiging role model mo for what healthy masculinity looks like? I think it's more of that parang ganun. Pero I don't know, what
So
about
parang
you?
ganun. So nawala na siya ng role model and most of the time at home, he was just on his computer. Even until super late at night. So I think, I have a feeling na he looked for other role models online, and the dad also pointed out that, you know, iba na yung digital landscape, na even if he's just looking for a gym and then some guy, probably, who's that podcaster?
Si Andrew Tate.
Yeah, that guy.
I think about that point na you're bringing up, it ties back pa rin nga sa the normal experience of adolescence, which is, babanggit ko ulit yung ating paboritong psychologist, si Erik Erikson, na sinabi niya, always niya kasi sinasabi na may psychosocial stages tayong pinagdadaanan, and adolescence in particular, it's about figuring out your identity. Yun yung pinaka-crucial na task. Boys or girls man, or whatever gender, pagdadaanan talaga yun sa adolescence, and usually, part of what helps you form your identity is through role models, no? Kung babae ka, usually sa female figures in your life, kung lalaki ka sa male figures. And dun papasok yung social media. Kasi what happens now if absent yung healthy role models in your life? You turn to the internet. And the internet has a lot of answers, but a lot of them are not necessarily the right answers that you're looking for.
Parang the fact then na before, since the internet was a very new thing, it's a fun place to be. Like, there are a lot of games, it's so exciting because you meet new people, it's so new. But with the way kids now, the way they're using the internet now, it's again to seek validation.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say kanina na before it was a community thing, pero now it's still a community thing. It's just not iba yung pinag-uusapan nila. Because technically in the series also, the fact na I guess they were all online, they're friends, they're talking to each other on Instagram or on Snapchat. Parang still being with your friends, but what they talk about, it's so different.
Well, I think it's also because the youth of today are really different from the youth of yesterday. No?
Wow, punta na ba niya?
Yung ano ko lang dun is, parang I feel like one of the biggest difference sa internet dati sa internet ngayon is how social media has really evolved and how social media has really, kumbaga, been a dominant na ngayon sa internet use. Like, everybody has social media.
Yeah, I mean, we all know this. We already know this fact na if I read another paper saying that the internet is growing, parang our use of social media is growing exponentially, chorba. I think that's a pretty common thing. What scares me though is, like, what if in the future we try to regulate the internet use of our kid but we don't understand what they're talking about? Kasi di ba
Just like in
they
the
talk in
show.
code?
Yeah, yung mga emojis na ginagamit.
Yeah, parang they talk in code. So parang that's the scary part for me, na there are jargons, there are lingos na I don't understand.
Yeah. And I think that's why we go back dun sa importance of setting your foundation early sa kids mo. A foundation of trust and being able to tell you whenever they feel uncomfortable, whenever they feel upset. And then, siguro being open-minded as parents na, unlike that police officer in the show, na parang pinapaliwanag na sa kanya nung anak niya what the emojis mean. And then parang hesitant pa siyang maniwala.
Yeah.
Na hindi naman yan sinabi dun wala namang sinabi explicitly na binubuli siya. Pero akin lang, dude, like, be open-minded, man, kasi you belong to a different generation.
Yeah.
So I think, ganun lang sa atin na if we build that climate of trust and being able to open up to us, and then we just tell our kid to tell us whenever something makes you feel uncomfortable, and then enlighten us why.
Yeah, and then thinking about that now, it really starts as early as now. Like, we have a 2-year-old. It starts as early as now. You really have to listen whenever they tell you something. Kahit na it's about their favorite dinosaur or whatever. You have to listen.
Yeah, and
Right, Dada?
yeah. And yun nga, parang we have a friend, we have a couple friend na they also have a kid, and we were actually quite amazed na at 2 years old, magaling na mag-articulate ng emotions, no?
Yeah.
So, and that's something that we've been trying to do also with our kid, na to teach emotions early. Well, mama does it. Mama does it a lot.
Ako yung psychiatrist here.
Yeah. So parang everything starts early talaga. And then the reason I brought up social media, aside from stating the obvious like you said, is because what I wanted to say was parang mas nagiging echo chamber na kasi ngayon because of social media and because of how algorithm works now, which wasn't like this before, right? Like sa panahon natin. So ngayon ang bilis mag-pick up ni algorithm. So it starts small, like
No, a concrete example, the dad in the series was just looking for a gym. Tapos na-connect ni algorithm that people who are looking for gyms are probably the macho types. So they were fed content by Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Or that character, that figure.
And with that example nga, even with our adolescents, it starts small. Like maybe you start searching lang na how to build my confidence. Something as innocent as that. Pero from how to build my confidence, the algorithm picks up on it, and then eventually the more extremist na concepts related to that start flooding your timeline.
Yeah.
Like doon na papasok yung mga Andrew Tates of the world. Doon na papasok yung mga more of mga alpha male mentality, toxic masculinity. And then, syempre, the more you see it sa algorithm mo, it confirms tuloy ngayon in your head yung mga misguided beliefs mo or yung mga toxic beliefs mo until you start being a believer. And then kung yun na yung puro mo, yun na yung lagi nakikita mo sa feed mo, it becomes a trap already for you. I think in psychology or in research, they call that confirmation bias, na parang your mind starts to seek information that would validate yung mga pre-existing beliefs mo na. And it strengthens hanggat sa yung mga maladaptive toxic beliefs mo, medyo nagiging part na siya ng pagkatao mo because of what you consume sa feed mo. And when that happens, the world starts becoming black and white. It starts becoming us versus the world.
Yeah.
Parang yun. So I think that's where the toxicity, that's what I was trying to say, where the toxicity of the social media can also come in.
Yeah. If you're from the Philippines, you probably know this.
Yeah, I mean, we see it naman everywhere on social media na if you are a supporter of a certain person, nothing can really shake your beliefs, especially when it becomes a herd mentality sort of thing. When you find, your kindred spirits online, and then now it becomes sort of like parang siyang, okay, we belong to this club who see the truth. And then nabubuo pa yung resolve mo of your beliefs.
Yeah.
Parang ganun.
Then it leads to certain consequences. Like with this kid, committing murder. Actually, yung next thing that I want to discuss, second to the last thing that I want to discuss, the third episode with the psychologist, a lot of people were talking about it. Kasi dun mo talaga nakita how this little boy acts or treats women. Na just that picture that went viral na he was standing over the girl, like looming over the girl. Kita mo na kagad like how his relationship towards women is. But that's not what I want to discuss. What I want to ask is, the girl kept asking
the psychologist.
The psychologist kept asking si Jamie, like, do you understand what death is? Na parang, do you understand na hindi na siya babalik? Na parang I'm wondering, what about the kid na hindi niya naiintindihan yung finality of murder? That's how I understood it. Na parang hindi niya gets na she's really gone. What he did was a final thing.
The way I took that was, it's more of the lack of empathy. Yun yung,
Do you think?
that's the way I took it.
Okay.
Parang nakikita niya there's a lack of empathy dun sa kay Jamie. He even had that line, di ba, na parang dahil nag-spread yung nude videos nung girl,
Yeah.
parang for him that meant na nabawasan ng value yung babae who prior to that was out of his league daw. Pero ever since nag-spread yung nude videos, ngayon sinubukan na niyang i-ask out.
And
No?
then he got rejected.
And the psychologist asked him point blank na parang, so because kumalat yung video niya, ibig sabihin nabawasan na yung kanyang halaga bilang tao. And that's how the kid saw it. Ay, kaya nga for me, parang it was more of a lack of empathy na parang it was all about me, my needs, my wants, without being able to take into account yung vantage point ng other person involved. Parang ganun. It's normal in kids. It's called egocentric thinking na you only see the world from your point of view.
Yeah.
Pero as we grow older, actually, as early as pre-teenager, nawawala na dapat yun eh. That's normal in like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, not in teenagers.
Yeah. Well, is it? Parang there are a lot of teenagers who are still
Then it means it's something.
me.
Then it means it's something that they kinda need to work on. Well, when I say egocentric thinking, I mean, syempre with teenagers naman parang there's still a self-centeredness to it. Pero ibang level na kasi yung needs ko lang yung nakikita ko. Even to the point na nawala na nga ng buhay yung babae. That's not something that really sunk in sa kanya. And that's not normal in teenagers, right? Parang ganun. What else? What else about the show kinda stuck with you?
I think yung last ko was, like, for sure, as I mentioned, this is like my top 2 worst nightmare as a parent. Na there are some, like, no matter how hard I try to make things better for my kid, there are still a lot of things out of my control. Na parang, the dad, nag-stick talaga sa akin yun eh, na the dad, hinihit siya nung sarili niyang tatay when he was younger. And he intentionally didn't do that to his own kid because, you know, he wanted to change and he wanted to be a better father for his kid. But this thing still happened to them. Ano yung line niya na parang, if my dad made me, then how could I make that? Tapos medyo na-break yung soul ko na, oh my gosh, I know you're just trying your best. And ganito pa rin yung nangyari. I mean, I'm more empathetic towards the parents now, honestly. Now that I'm a parent. So, parang, like, honestly, what could I have done better? Na, meron naman, like, there are good intentions. They were intentionally being good parents. But I guess yung mga micro actions nga, like those little things na you cannot control that's ingrained in you. Yun yung medyo mahirap baguhin, na hindi mo alam na nakaka-apekto din pala sa anak mo.
Kaya nga, like you said, we cannot really be perfect, no? Really cannot be perfect parents, we really cannot be perfect people. Pero that's why very important, again, yung setting the foundation na your kid has a safe space with you. Even if there's something ginawa mo na hindi niya gusto or nasaktan siya, kaya niyang magsabi sa'yo ng walang takot. Pero syempre, in a way that's still respectful. And you build those habits early. So, in line with what you said, parang, I think part of healthy parenting is acceptance of uncertainty. No? Knowing na no matter our best intentions, no matter our best efforts, there are really some things that hindi talaga natin maprepredict. Ano yung maging experiences ng kids natin, ano yung mga mararamdaman nila, even when it comes to gender, no? How our kids are gonna figure out their identities. These are things na hindi natin fully control. So, acceptance of the uncertainty and focusing on the things na kaya natin kontrolin. So, kahit hindi man natin makontrol lahat, malaki pa rin yung influence natin as parents, especially during the early years. So, doon na yung papasok yung values, boundaries, discipline, having safe spaces with us, having honest conversations, knowing how to articulate their emotions, all of those things fall there. And then, finally, eventually in the future, learning to let go.
Yeah.
So, parang I think that's the cycle of healthy parenting eh. I kind of read somewhere before na parang part of healthy parenting is doing your best to raise your kid with the ultimate goal of helping them to be able to eventually function without you.
Yeah, I agree.
Parang ganun. And I think that's the most we can ask from ourselves. I think that's my take on healthy parenting. Is there something you feel like, we can do pa as parents?
I think just see a therapist.
Definitely.
No, kasi ang I love the fact that sa last episode, na they made them see a therapist. Like a writer can just focus on grief or anger. Kasi like for a show like this, it's so easy nga to be angry at the world. The fact na your own son was driven to do these violent things by the internet, blah blah blah. But I love how they recognize na yes, there are some things that you cannot control, but ultimately, ang magiging action step dito for parents who are watching is to get help also. Kasi that's how they are dealing with the loss of their kid eh.
Do we go to like one last thing you wanna say about this episode?
Go.
For me, I just wanna emphasize yung about sa I guess the psychology behind anger. No, this is something I also talk about with my clients, with my patients. The reason anger is often one of the easiest emotions to express.
It's primal.
Is because it's a primal drive according to Freud, but on a social level, on a societal level pala, ano yun kasi sa atin growing up, parang especially with boys, it's parang mas katanggap-tanggap ang galit, to be angry, than to be sad or miserable or lonely.
Really?
Yeah. Kaya nga bawal nga
For which
umiyak.
generation?
For a lot of generations. I mean, for boys, ewan ko sa inyo.
Okay.
Pero for boys, doon nga galing yung parang bawal ka umiyak.
Yeah.
Pero pag nagalit ka, it's not really something na i-shame ka for ng tatay mo. No? Actually, some dads nga would be like, okay yan, lumaban ka. That's how you assert yourself. On a societal level, I think that's one of the reasons why anger is easier to express. On a psychological level, I think it's because anger is more external. So, kumbaga, you kinda know what to do with anger when you feel it. It's easier to know what to do with anger. You either shout, you either hit, you destroy things, you exercise it off. So parang there's a concrete action versus something like guilt, versus something like shame. Parang that's kinda harder to process kasi it's more introspective. And finally, anger is what you call a secondary emotion, which means it often masks more delicate emotions underneath, like embarrassment, shame, guilt, depression, loneliness. So, ang tip ko lang is, if there are parents watching and you kind of notice that your kid is angry all the time, if you see your teenager angry all the time, it doesn't mean na galit lang siya. Most oftentimes, it means something else, na the anger is a mask for, say, depression. Actually, in adolescents, even in our criteria for diagnosing depression, we count irritability or anger as a sign of depression, because in kids or in adolescents, like we said, that's easier to express. So yun lang, if you being angry all the time is a red flag that you might wanna sort of explore further with your kid or with the help of a mental health professional.
I think those are great final words. I have nothing to add aside from watch the series, form your own opinion, and the things we discussed here are just our thoughts about the show. This is
not a substitute for therapy.
Oh, this is not a
that.
substitute for therapy, and we're also not, I guess, justifying what the kid did in the show. We are just trying.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sense of what happened and what they are all experiencing in that particular dilemma and scenario. So
guys, it actually feels really good to be doing this again.
Happy to be back.
It's been 2 years. So we hope we get to be more consistent.
Yeah, we're
consistent with this.
So if you want more Therapop, we updated our Instagram. It's now therapop.club. So we want to create a little club with you guys, and we are creating better content, but I guess it's in Taglish. So this is really for the Filipinos out there. And then we are also trying to do more Filipino movies. So if you have any suggestions, kahit old movies, go lang. You can send us a DM or a message, and we can therapize your favorite movie characters, your favorite Agamulak movie. Kahit ganun kaluma, game.
Do we have a next episode that we're gonna do?
We will be doing Hello Love Again.
Oh yeah.
Sobrang overdue na. So
it's on Netflix already, diba?
It's on Netflix already, so we can all watch together. Again, if you like what you watched, if you want more Therapop, or if you want more psychiatrists therapizing your favorite pop culture characters, please hit like
And subscribe.
It's so weird. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys.